So excited, just getting ready to walk in here to the convention center for this year's AWSP Summer Conference Luncheon. I'm just stoked to be able to see everybody and have a good time. Huh, door's locked. I wonder why that is. I don't see anybody.
Hello and welcome to another special summer conference edition of AWSP News. We all thought last year was crazy and this year wasn't much better. We continue to be in awe of your leadership and the sheer magnitude of the things that you have to keep figuring out. Speaking of figuring things out, let's check back in on Scott Friedman, or as we like to call him here at AWSP, Easty.
Man, I can't wait. It's been a long year. The AWSP Summer Conference Luncheon is here. I mean, I grew a mullet this past year, but I'm so excited to see Scott and Jack and Gina and Kim and... Oh, Scott, Roz, somebody, anybody, please, please, no, not again.
Thanks again for being here. I know there are a lot of other things that you could be doing right now, but you're here with us. And who doesn't enjoy a virtual luncheon? And next year, we'll all be back together in Spokane. Now that's something to look forward to. Just like another edition of our celebrity, Who's Your Favorite Principal interview later on in this episode. Before we go too far into this newscast, we want to thank our friends at WA 529, the Washington College Savings Plan, for sponsoring this episode.
Parents and grandparents hear it time and time again. Enjoy every minute because it goes by so quickly. With their first steps, they start imagining, exploring, and dreaming of what's next. You can help put those dreams in motion by saving for college with Washington's 529 plans. The GET program and the Dream Ahead College Investment Plan can help them be ready for wherever their dreams take them. Give the gift of a brighter future today at wastate529.wa.gov.
You know who else gives the gift of a brighter future? How about our current principals and assistant principal of the year? The pandemic has brought fewer opportunities for them to be recognized. So wherever you are, unless you're in a library, let's give them some thunderous applause to David Cook, Mandy Wren, and Joby Flint. While they deserve all the accolades and much more recognition than they've had this year, it's time to start finding our next principal and assistant principal of the year. Do you have somebody in your district, ESD, or across the state whose leadership has amazed you this year? Maybe if you're a principal, if you're an AP, or an AP if you're a principal. Head to awsp.org/POY and nominate them today. It's a great honor not only for the individual, but the school and community as well. You've been caught in the middle even more than this past year and a half, and even more than usual, and even more. The leadership and dedication principals and assistant principals displayed all year long is phenomenal and hasn't gone unnoticed. And again, this award is about recognizing those who advocated for the principals and principalship, and that is all of you. This isn't T-ball or youth soccer and everyone gets a trophy. This is something each and every one of you earned this year. Thank you for your unwavering and life-changing service to your communities. We've got some updates for you from our amazing team. First up, let's hear from Government Relations and Advocacy Director, Roz Thompson.
Thanks, Scott. Hey everyone, Roz Thompson coming to you from a virtual Capitol building here in Olympia, which is fitting because it was an entirely virtual legislative session for me. Just like you, I miss talking to people in person, and my eyes were so tired of all of the screen time. But I got to wear cozy slippers and eat popcorn off camera, so those were some silver linings. This session, as part of the broader education community, our main goal was to make sure school districts could support immediate student needs by having stable enrollment funding and transportation funding. We wanted to ensure funding was in place for costs related to safety needs, including additional staffing that could support student mental health. We also stressed the immediate needs for equitable access to technology resources, including devices and broadband connectivity, as well as for staff to continue engaging in professional learning related to both racial literacy and successfully engaging students in online learning. We are especially excited to report that the legislature included over $800,000 to specifically support the fantastic work being led by James Layman and Chase Buffington at AWSL and at our CISPAS Learning Center. The legislature also allocated $10 million to support outdoor education for students all over the state, and you'll hear much more about this funding soon. In addition to funding for schools, there are policy bills that may affect you and the work in your buildings. My session wrap-up includes them by topics, including equity, student health and safety, professional learning, and high school or graduation-related bills. Check it out on our website, and please call if you have questions. During the interim, we'll be focused on conversations related to early learning, mastery-based learning, dual credit, and more. Our emphasis for next session, along with our education partners, will be on updating the prototypical school funding model ratios in order to better meet the needs of students, as well as to address your massive workload. Thank you for all that you do, and thank you to all of you who engaged in our advocacy efforts. And now, back to you, Scott.
Thanks, Roz. School leaders across the state and AWSP itself are in a better position moving forward because of Roz's hard work and Roz's relationships she's built with any and all policymakers. Yes, I just said Roz's relationships. Now let's cut to Jack Arend, Associate Director and Professional Learning Lead, and find out what the professional learning team here at AWSP has in store for you this summer and next year.
Thanks, Scott. Hey everybody, this is Jack Arend, a member of the professional learning team here at AWSP. Wow, what a year we had last year with so many great learning events. Do you know over 3,300 of you signed up for AWSP professional learning events throughout the year? Wow, we were able to reach people in every corner of our state. So much fun. And boy, do we have great things planned for you for the next school year. Head to our AWSP site and look at all the great offerings we have coming up for next year. But here's the thing, we need to hear from you. That's right, would you please email me and let me know what professional learning events would you like to see for next school year? We are happy to design for you whatever it is that you need. We're looking forward to next year where we can be in person and some virtual events as well. Have a great summer. Thank you for everything you do for kids, your staff, and your entire school community. Back to you, Scott.
Thanks, Jack. We want to equip you to be the best learner you can be. And it starts with you as the lead learner in your building. I've said it before and I'll keep saying it. Your self-care and ongoing professional learning are crucial to your ongoing success. Like Jack, we have something for everyone. And if you would like to increase authentic student voice in your school, we've got that too. Let's hear some updates from James Layman, Director of the Association of Washington Student Leaders.
Greetings, my name is James Layman and I am the Director of your Student Leadership and Student Programs Organization, the Association of Washington Student Leaders, AWSL. AWSL provides resources, programs, training, workshops, conferences, camps, and many other dynamic offerings that support student engagement, student empowerment, and student voice throughout the P16 system. From students to adults to recess staff to principals, AWSL is here for you. Check out our website, awsleaders.org, for all the ways you and your school can get involved. We look forward to working with you.
Between AWSP, AWSL, CISPAS, and now Outdoor School, we are thrilled to have a family of organizations supporting your leadership and your students. Make sure you're taking full advantage of your membership and all the opportunities our little family has to offer. Well, we've come to the part of the show you're all here for, the famous, or is it infamous, Who's Your Favorite Principal segment. You might recall from past interviews with my daughter, educational leaders, former Seahawk Richard Sherman, actor and comedian Joel McHale, and the Mariners manager Scott Service. We'd say our next guest needs no introduction, but we'd probably be lying. Instead of a name you know, we've partnered with someone you are about to know. Meet Everett Fitzhugh, broadcaster for the Seattle Kraken. Why are we interviewing Everett? Because he's a trailblazer in his field and a great example of how the Kraken are building a diverse, inclusive organization in a sport that's traditionally very white and very male. Everett is the first black play-by-play announcer in the NHL. After spending some time with Everett, We think he's going to be one of the region's most beloved sports broadcasters, joining the likes of Dave Niehaus, Steve Rabel, and Kevin Calabro.
Hey, Everett, thank you so much for joining us today. We can't thank you enough for giving us your precious time. This is just so exciting for us to be able to spend time with you, get to know you, hear about your dream and your passion, about what you're bringing to Seattle with the Kraken. But we are super excited about learning how the Kraken have been intentional about their hiring and making sure they have a diverse team, really creating a family within the Kraken.
Yeah.
That's got to be exciting for you, just to see that kind of leadership exists across the board. At AWSP, we feel like we're on the front ends of leading diversity and equity in our state. And we have the same internal goals of diversifying our membership. We have a whole bunch of white principals across the state working with a whole bunch of white students in rural communities, but we also have a whole bunch of white principals working in schools where they don't look like their students.
Yeah.
So we're living in the middle as an organization of how do we help all of us get better about talking about race, talking about leading equity, talking about breaking down historical systems, much like what the Kraken have done. They could have just hit reset and launched this new franchise here in Seattle, but they did it differently. That's going to be pretty exciting.
It's so cool. It's an unbelievable honor and opportunity to be a part of an organization that is so committed to gender diversity and racial diversity. You know, we've got 49% of our staff is female, 26% are people of color. We don't just talk the talk, we're walking the walk. And to be able to come into a Zoom meeting every day and to see people who look like you working in the game of hockey, to see women, you know, in positions of power, making crucial, influential decisions within our organization is awesome. You know, I've always been told through folks that, you know, it doesn't matter what you look like or who you are. And I know it sounds cliche, but you belong in this game. And for me to work for an organization, to represent an organization that truly believes that it doesn't matter who you are, where you're from, what your space is, you belong in that space. You have a voice. You deserve to be in that space. And it's so cool to, you know, I've never had this many Black coworkers in my life. And I'm doing it at a hockey team. Say that 10 years ago. Say that 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Say that 2 years ago. You know what I mean? That it's something that it hasn't happened. It doesn't happen often. And for the Seattle Kraken to lead the way and to be at the forefront of this social change and this social movement of allowing historically underrepresented populations to have a voice within their organization is absolutely crucial. And it's such a cool thing to be a part of.
Yeah. And for you, not just have a voice, but you are the voice.
Yeah. Living a dream of mine, you know, being able to, I remember when I was in college and I started to really think that play-by-play was an option. Growing up, I wanted to be Stuart Scott. I wanted to be Kenny Mayne, right? I wanted to be on Sports Center. I didn't know that play-by-play was an option. And then when I got to college and I fell in love with it, I did some research. And then I found out that I was the only Black play-by-play announcer at any level of hockey. Finding out that you're the only person of your race in this position, it was a humbling experience and something that I don't think anyone really ever thinks about or sets out to do. But to be in this position is unique, and it's a responsibility that I do not take lightly.
Yeah, and definitely kind of highlights not just a little bit, but a lot, how much work we have to do.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Again, I just feel so honored that you're giving us this time. You said something a few minutes ago that I want to come back to about belonging. The Kraken's done a great job of making everyone feel like they belong. they're part of something. Principals strive to make sure every student feels like they belong in their school. That's their purpose. That's why principals exist. And I don't think we talk about belonging enough as a system when we think about how we're educating kids. So when you reflect on your time through the K-12 system, I don't know, Everett, if you were in the public system or private or wherever you went, that word belonging, can you think of a time where you felt like you belonged or didn't belong?
How much time you got? I mean, I think, you know, as a kid, and I'm very open about this. I'm not one to shy away. I'm not one to shy away from this. I was bullied relentlessly as a kid. And I oftentimes felt like I didn't belong. And it was really cool because I didn't have a whole lot of friends from K through 7. I was kind of a lone ranger, if you will. And then like 7th, 8th grade, I started making some friends, but it wasn't until I got to high school. I got to 9th grade. I met people that had the same interests as I did. I wasn't concerned about being popular. I didn't care. You know, but it was really cool to finally make those first real friends in my life when I was, what are you in 9th grade? 12, 13 years old to make those first real friends. And it was really cool. And I learned what I was good at. I wasn't an athlete, but I was a performer. And I was in the choir. I was in the theater in high school. I made a lot of friends through that. I did some productions in high school. I learned a lot about myself. I made a lot of friends and I felt welcome. I felt accepted. And it was really cool because, again, you know, I grew up a hockey fan. I grew up a baseball fan. I listened to Motown music. I love the Dave Matthews Band. A lot of my friends, oh, you're not black. You're not one of us. And I went through that a lot. But being able to be a part of something like the choir, like theater when I was in high school, where I was accepted, it felt really good. And it let me know, again, be yourself. If you're a hockey fan, be a hockey fan. If you want to sing in the choir, if you like rock music, if you like death metal, like it doesn't matter, be yourself. And my mom always told me there's no such thing as white sports or black sports or white music or black music. If you like something, if you are a fan of something, that's okay. Express yourself genuinely, however you want to express yourself. So I think that's when I've truly felt that I could have that freedom to be myself and belong somewhere, was when I was in high school.
And what a powerful message to every student in our state. And again, you got to be kind of pinching yourself. All that experience you had in life is for a reason. It's for a purpose.
Yeah.
You are the voice of the Kraken right now, but you're the voice for the experience of a lot of kids in the system. So you've got a story that I think will change lives. Well, Everett, we can't thank you enough for your time. You've given us some great stuff here, some great things to think about. I have one final question for you.
Okay, let's do it.
Actually, I have a couple of questions.
Oh, David's got a couple.
Oh,
whoa, hey.
Yeah,
Speak of the Kraken.
You know, normally I'm behind the camera for these interviews.
He's on brand too. I love it.
On brand, right? And I adjusted my office decor, so I've got my old college hockey jersey back in the corner. So I'm going to date myself with some references here because I don't really end up watching hockey. I haven't watched hockey for a long time because it's not been a local team. You know, you get married and it's like, I played hockey growing up. I know what that's about. Yeah. But as you can tell, I'm super excited. So I got a couple questions. Yeah, and so, you know, most people watch our newscast, honestly, for the bloopers.
Yeah.
But we're going to go right there. We're going to see if we can't get some bloopers.
Perfect.
Okay. Question number 1.
Okay.
What's a Kraken?
The Kraken is a mythical creature that exists deep within the waters in the Puget Sound. And if you see the Kraken, it's too late. You're already gone. Your ship's down. You're done. So pray that you never see the Kraken.
Okay. Talk about on brand. Right. That's good. That's good.
That's good, right? Yeah.
Yeah. All right. You're a professional. Not that you need any suggestions, but when I played hockey, I was a goalie.
Yes.
Okay. So there's a couple little trash talk lines. I mean, goalies are pretty quiet. They're shy. They're weird, right? Okay. They're like the lefty relief pitcher of baseball.
Yeah.
Okay. So how about this? If you use any of these lines, we'll make you an honorary principal for a day.
Ooh.
Okay.
All right.
All right. So
yes.
I'm going to say, and I don't know who the Kraken goalie is going to be, so I'm just going to throw in some names from the past.
Okay.
Okay. Brodeur with the save, and he says, "Don't plant that seed in my garden."
Actually, I'm writing these down right now.
All right.
I'm writing these down.
Trademark patent pending, but we'll license them for a trip to Sispus. Yeah. Okay. And then, are you kidding me right now? Fewer with cat-like reflexes.
I love the puns. I love it.
Okay. Or how about this guy? This guy's like Google Docs because he's on autosave for everything tonight.
So that's a deep one. I like that. That one takes a little bit of like, you gotta be in the professional world to know that one. I like the subtlety there. That's kind of for the computer folks. I like that.
Right. Well, we're Microsoft town, so I don't know how well that will go over, but you're welcome to try.
There he is. Thank you.
Thank you.
Perfect. And again, thank you for chasing your dream.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks again to Everett and the Seattle Kraken. We can't wait to watch the puck drop here this fall and see all the great things the Kraken have in store for us on the ice and in the community. Make sure you head to our YouTube channel or listen to a Matter of Principles podcast to hear the full interview. We know how busy you are, but we promise it's worth your time. As we wind down another special edition of AWSP News, we want you to stick around on Zoom for the remainder of the luncheon. We want to hear from you, and we've got some prizes in store and giveaways just ahead. But for now, that wraps up this edition of the news. Keep up the great work for kids, and if you're watching this live during the luncheon, I'll see you again in just a minute.
Thank you for all of those in every corner of our state. Thank you to all of those of you. So one of the events that we're going to have for you next year involves our Executive Director, Scott Seaman, and our Director of Operations, Mrs. Kim Marquette. This dynamic duo is going to be able to offer you and your...
I also stress that it... Gosh, Senya. How about we do it from the beginning? Let's do it from the beginning.
This is the section of the program where Scott provides blooper materials. Take one. You know else who... Don't have to move it, it's all good, I can still see it. Woo! This is a good start. Let's go for it. Take three. That's right, people. This is the third take for just this little tiny segment. It's built with any and all policymakers. Dang! I got the Ross relationship, but I screwed up policymakers. So yeah, I need just a little tiny swipe up. Take 7. That's right, who's counting? Take 7. It's not like they'll see that in the bloopers. Boop, 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 woo! Yeah, no more bloopers materials for that. Thank you. As we wind down another special edition of AWSP News, we want you to stick around we want to zoom you some more.
Hope you're ready for the next episode. Hey.